And so I want us to go back to Matthew chapter 4. Jesus calling his disciples, Peter and his brother Andrew, the fisherman. He meets with them and he just, speaks a few words to them. Few powerful, impactful, life-changing words. Where he invites them not to a structure, not to an organization, but he invites them to himself. He says, follow me, I will make you fishers of men. And so I spoke that the first call of God upon everyone who's called into the ministry is to be fishers of men. The fact that we may specialize in certain areas, in teaching, in prophecy, in whatever, does not change the fact that our first and primary calling is to be fishers of men. Because God is more interested in men being fished out of the deep waters of sin than he's interested in lecture halls in churches. God is more interested in people being saved from sin than for us to sit in academic lecture halls and have knowledge and have all knowledge and speak Greek and speak Hebrew and speak all kinds of obscured, hidden, mysterious language and be monastery and be monks. Because in the olden days, before the Reformation, the church was caught up in some monastery situation, monasticism, where they went into monks, and they were monks in monasteries, where they read the scriptures. They did not interact or engage the world. They sat and they thought the more the word they studied, like the Pharisees and Sadducees. They stayed there, they did not engage the world. But when Martin Luther came in, they understood that our goal is to engage the world, is to be the salt of the earth, is to be the light of the world, is not to have PhDs in the knowledge of God's word, but is to apply that word and impact all generations. So the people of God were called, follow me, I will make you fishers of men. And so therefore leadership, if you were to come at any level of Christian leadership, you must know this one thing, that every leadership is not only framed around who follows the leader, but it's also framed around who the leader follows. So the leader has to understand who is he following. Because Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ. So you follow a leader who follows Jesus. Not just you follow somebody. If he deviates, if he leaves the path, you have no obligation to follow him. You follow him as long as he follows Jesus, so that he takes you to Jesus. Paul says to the Galatians, I labor until I groan, not until my ministry has grown, not until I've traveled the world, not until I've written books. I labor until Christ is formed in you. That's the whole point of Christian leadership. So don't come to Christian leadership until you understand why you must stand before people. You don't stand before people just to speak. I must clarify some problems, some misconceptions here. Not every good preacher could be a good leader. Not every good preacher can make a good leader. In both preaching and leading, there's communication. But in preaching, the communication is a monologue. In leadership, communication is never a monologue, it's a dialogue. A leader is not an expert, but he tells people where we are going. He works with them to find the best way to get there. So a leader consults. A leader points direction, but he works with those around him to find the best route to get there. He's not an expert. But a preacher often is a person who speaks a monologue. He's the only one who speaks. So don't think everyone who preaches well can be a good leader. If that were the case, I don't know about you, but I've had people who preach very well. I've listened to amazing preachers. I've listened to revelatory preachers. I've listened to informed, educated people, yet are terrible leaders. Have no emotional quotient, have no people skills, have no communication skills. There are three levels of communication. There's verbal, non-verbal, and paraverbal. Paraverbal is not what you say, but how you say it.